France has had various forms of government since its independence, including monarchies before 1792, which were ruled by kings, then empires from 1804 to 1815, and from 1852 to 1870, then republics from 1848 to present. France has had 5 republics, each with an elected president as a head of state. Here is the heads of state of France from 1792 to present, covering the French republics, empires, and monarchies. National Convention led the country from 1792 to 1795. They proclaimed the First French Republic after overthrowing King Louis XV. They executed Louis XVI in 1793. They oversaw the Reign of Terror under Maximilien Robespierre and eventually replaced by the Directory. The Directory led the country from 1795 to 1799. It was a 5-member governing body. It was marked by political instability and economic struggles. It was later overthrown in a coup by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1799. The consulate governed the country from 1799 to 1804. It was established after Napoleon's coup of 18 Brumaire. Napoleon Bonaparte ruled as first consul, centralizing power. He led military victories, economic reforms, and legal restructuring. He transitioned into the First French Empire in 1804. Napoleon won rule from 1804 to 1814, and in 1815, he was crowned Emperor of the French in 1804. He expanded France through the Napoleonic Wars. He established the Napoleonic Code, shaping modern legal systems. He was later defeated and exiled in 1814, returned briefly in 1815 for 100 days, but was defeated at Waterloo and exiled again. Louis XVIII took over and ruled from 1814 to 1824. He restored the Bourbon monarchy after Napoleon's defeat. He tried to maintain a balance between monarchical rule and constitutional reforms. He granted a constitutional charter allowing limited freedoms. Charles X ruled from 1824 to 1830. He was an ultra-royalist who sought to restore absolute monarchy. He passed laws benefiting the nobility and church, leading to unrest. He was later overthrown in the July Revolution of 1830. Louis Philippe I became the King of the French after the July Revolution and ruled from 1830 to 1848. He promoted a constitutional monarchy, favoring the wealthy middle class. He was later overthrown during the 1848 Revolution due to economic hardship and political discontent. Provisional government governed the country in 1848. They declared France a republic again after overthrowing Louis Philippe. They established universal male suffrage. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte was elected and took over from 1848 to 1852. He was a nephew of Napoleon I. He staged a coup in 1851 and declared himself Emperor Napoleon III. Louis Napoleon Bonaparte was elected and took over from 1848 to 1852. He was a nephew of Napoleon I. He staged a coup in 1851 and declared himself Emperor Napoleon III. Napoleon III declared himself Emperor Napoleon III in 1852, and he ruled all the way to 1870. He modernized France's economy, industry, and infrastructure. He also expanded French colonial influence. He later lost power after defeat in the Franco-Prussian War in 1870. Louis Jules Trochu led France from 1870 to 1871. He led France during the Franco-Prussian War after Emperor Napoleon III was captured. He struggled to defend Paris against Prussian forces. He later resigned after France's defeat and the signing of an armistice. Adolphe Thiers was the first official president of the Third Republic. He ruled from 1871 to 1873. He signed the Treaty of Frankfurt, officially ending the Franco-Prussian War. He crushed the Paris Commune in 1871, a radical socialist uprising. Patrice de MacMahon ruled from 1873 to 1879. He was a conservative, pro-monarchist president. He strengthened the Catholic Church's role in society. He later resigned after failing to reinstate the monarchy. Jules Grévy served from 1879 to 1887. He was a strong supporter of Republican democracy. He reduced the influence of the Catholic Church in politics. He later resigned due to a corruption scandal involving his son-in-law. Marie-Françoise Sadi-Carnot got into power in 1887 and ruled up to 1894. He encouraged industrial growth and colonial expansion. He was later assassinated by an Italian anarchist in 1894. Jean Casimir Perier assumed power and ruled for only 6 months in 1894 to 1895 due to political instability. He later resigned because of conflicts with the legislature. Félix Faure assumed office in 1895 to 1899. He faced the Dreyfus Affair, a political scandal dividing France over an unjust military conviction, and later died in office in 1899. Émile Loubet ruled from 1899 to 1906. He oversaw the legal separation of church and state in 1905. He maintained stability despite the ongoing Dreyfus Affair. Armand Fallières ruled from 1906 to 1913. He strengthened democratic institutions and encouraged pacifist policies in Europe. Raymond Poincaré became president in 1913 and ruled until 1920. He was the president during World War I of 1914 to 1918. He strengthened alliances with Britain and Russia and advocated for a tough stance against Germany after the war. Paul Deschanel ruled for only 7 months from February to September 1920. He suffered from mental health issues and resigned. Alexander Millerand took over in 1920 to 1924. He opposed socialism and favored conservative policies, and later resigned due to political opposition. Gaston Doumer took over from 1924 to 1931. He promoted economic and colonial expansion, and later resigned in 1931 after political tensions. Paul Doumer ruled from 1931 to 1932 and was assassinated by a Russian anarchist in 1932. Albert Lebrun ruled from 1932 to 1940. He was last president before Nazi Germany invaded France in 1940. He oversaw France's failure to stop Hitler's expansion. He was replaced by Marshal Pétain, who collaborated with Nazi Germany. Philippe Pétain ruled from 1940 to 1944. He was the chief of state of the Vichy regime after France's armistice with Nazi Germany in 1940. He implemented policies collaborating with Nazi occupiers, including anti-Semitic laws. His government was based in Vichy and controlled unoccupied southern France. After the liberation of France, Pétain was arrested, tried for treason, and sentenced to life imprisonment. Charles de Gaulle took over from 1944 to 1946. He led the Free French forces during World War II. He became head of the provisional government after the liberation of France in 1944. He worked to restore democracy and rebuild the nation post-occupation. He later resigned in 1946 due to political disagreements over the new constitution. Félix Gouin succeeded de Gaulle in the year 1946. He oversaw the drafting of a new constitution. His tenure was marked by political instability and economic challenges. Georges Bidault served briefly in 1946 during the transition period. He focused on foreign affairs and France's position in post-war Europe. Vincent Auriol led the country from 1946 to 1947. He was the last chairman of the provisional government before the establishment of the Fourth Republic. He was elected as the first president of the Fourth Republic in 1947. Vincent Auriol became the first president of the Fourth Republic and ruled from 1947 to 1954. He faced challenges including post-war reconstruction and the beginning of decolonization. His presidency saw economic growth, but also political fragmentation. René Coty was the second and last president of the Fourth Republic and ruled from 1954 to 1959. He dealt with the Algerian War and political instability. He invited Charles de Gaulle to form a government in 1958, leading to the establishment of the Fifth Republic. Charles de Gaulle became the first president of the Fifth Republic and ruled from 1959 to 1969. He strengthened the executive branch and established a new constitution. He granted independence to Algeria and pursued policies of grandeur for France. He later resigned in 1969, following a failed referendum on regional reforms. Georges Pompidou ruled from 1969 to 1974. He was a former prime minister under de Gaulle. He focused on modernizing the French economy and promoting industrial growth. He later died in office in 1974. Valéry Giscard d'Estaing took over and ruled from 1974 to 1981. He promoted social reforms, including lowering the voting age to 18 and legalizing abortion. He advocated for a more liberal economy and European integration. He later lost re-election in 1981. François Mitterrand was the first socialist president of the Fifth Republic and ruled from 1981 to 1995. He implemented significant social and economic reforms, including nationalizing key industries. He served 2 terms, making him the longest-serving French president. He oversaw France's role in the end of the Cold War and the Maastricht Treaty, leading to the European Union's creation. Jacques Chirac ruled from 1995 to 2007. He focused on reducing unemployment and social inequalities. He opposed the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. He also implemented domestic policies to reform pensions and labor laws. Nicolas Sarkozy took over and reigned from 2007 to 2012. He implemented economic reforms aimed at increasing competitiveness. He faced the global financial crisis during his tenure. He advocated for a stronger role for France in international affairs. François Hollande took over office and ruled from 2012 to 2017. He faced challenges including high unemployment and terrorist attacks. He legalized same-sex marriage in 2013. He did not seek re-election due to low approval ratings. Emmanuel Macron became the youngest president in French history in 2017. He launched economic reforms and faced protests like the Yellow Vest movement. He also advocated for stronger European integration and environmental policies.